How fucking badass is that intro? Holy shit, that is fucking awesome. Yeah, guys, hey, it's Josh, the Josh Beesman Gamer Tag, as you saw in my new kick-ass fucking intro, and it's down there in the left-hand corner. But anyways, on to that intro, I want to give a big shout-out and say just uber thanks to No One Left Behind. He pretty much encapsulated everything that I was looking forward to, and I was wanting out of an intro. It is very Contra inspired, which if you guys know me and you see me post anywhere or anything, you know that Contra is like my favorite game of all time. So I wanted something that encapsulated that, and he hit it right on the head. He did a fantastic job, and I really appreciate it. Check his channel out, show him some love. His link is in the description there. And if you guys are excuse me, looking for a intro or something yourself, I'm sure you can, message him, and he'd probably be more than willing to kind of see your thoughts and maybe want to tackle it for you. So check him out. Thanks again, and I really appreciate that. So, but speaking of Contra, look at what we're playing right here. I saw this on the Xbox Live Marketplace, and I was like, fuck yes, I must download it. And I did, and I started playing it, and I was like, wait a minute, this is different than what I'm normally used to. I used to play Contra on the NES, like, tons and tons and tons and tons. If my NES still worked, I would still play it to this day. But I downloaded this thinking it was that one, and it wasn't. This is the arcade version, I guess, of it. But, I mean, it's fine. It still gives me my Contra fix. So, it's a little bit different. So, it took me, like, I don't know, maybe 3 plays at it to beat my way through the game, just because everything is different, but kind of similar still to what I'm used to. If that makes sense, Like, on the NES, you'll see where it goes from, like, the snow level here to the laser level to the hanger claw level. Those used to be, like, actual stopping points of the game. It would actually change screens and then come to a much longer, different levels. These just kind of run into each other here, so I don't know. It's still worth it. I think it's like $5. If you guys ever played this game, maybe you want to check it out, and it'll really make you appreciate what we have now and see how and where the games used to be. So it's really cool. So anyways, on to the topic of the day. And I've seen many people do videos about this stuff, but there's been a lot of misinformation on it, and I'm here to kind of help you guys out and straighten it out. And I'm going to tell you guys, like, what you need to look for when you're going to buy the perfect TV for you. So when it comes down to it, you have there's only like 3 different types of TVs, but I will classify it as 4 because some of them are a little, 2 of them are the exact same thing, they're just lit up differently. So, and we'll start with those ones. First and foremost, actually, no, before I get to that, I want to tell you the things that you'll be looking for when you buy a TV. There are always listings of the TV hertz, which is essentially how many times a second that your TV will how many times it can cycle through its full color span. So 60 hertz will be 60 times a second, 180 hertz, 180 times a second. Blah 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 blah. The higher hertz, excuse me. The higher hertz means you have the more times it cycles through, which means the less likelihood of having motion blur, because a lot of older TVs used to have motion blur like crazy. So, but most of them now, you don't really have to worry about it because the hertz are so high and technology has improved. But if you're looking for like maybe a little cheaper TV for like a bedroom or something, it's something you may want to keep in mind. So, also, they will show you the contrast ratio. They used to be like 15,000 to 1. Now they're up to like 2-3 million to 1 or something. When it comes down to it, your eyes can see a million different colors between black and white, but your brain will not be able to comprehend them as being ever so different. It's just going to look like a certain shade of orange or something like that. So really, when it comes down to it, all the contrast ratios that they have nowadays, they're fine. I mean, it's the bigger number is going to make you think it's better, but you're not going to be able to perceive the difference, honestly. So anyways, that's kind of the two biggest things when comparing like the actual statistics of a TV. But when it comes down to it, we have 4 types of TVs, and that type is LCD, LED, plasma, and OLED TVs. So I'll run down the difference here. Excuse me. Starting out, LCD TVs. I'm sure you guys see them all the time. LCDs, your computer monitors. You know, the majority of TVs out there are LCD. So it's what it stands for is liquid crystal display, and in here you have a bunch of these little crystals that kind of spin around to change from the different colors, like the way it refracts light. God, it's a very confusing word, but yeah, the way it refracts light it depends on what channel color it comes up. So, and this is where with LCD TVs, where the actual difference in hertz, like having a 60 hertz TV compared to a 120 hertz TV, this is where it comes in. It's like a big deal on these, because say you're watching like football or something, and a quarterback goes to throw the ball like 50 yards down the field. If you're watching on a normal LCD TV, like a 60 hertz LCD TV, you have a chance of having like some stupid amounts of motion blur. So like you will be watching it, the football will be thrown, and it'll look like there's a tail following it because of the image kind of ghosting. And what that is the image is moving too fast for the crystals in the TV to keep up, so it creates like a shadow image. So that used to be a problem with older TVs and maybe some cheaper TVs nowadays, but the majority of TVs now, they are usually about 120 hertz, where you don't really have to worry about having motion blur. So it's not too much of an issue, but some cheaper older TVs or something would have that issue, so it'd be something you'd want to think about. Now, normal LCDs, they are backlit by incandescent bulbs. So that means you have like a little tube looking bulb, like you would have in like the overhead lights in like a supermarket or something. You'd have like 2 or 3 of those behind the screen in the TV that light it up. So that's how those are lit up. Now when you go to an LED TV, well, guess what? The LED TV is an LCD TV that is just backlit by LED lights. There's nothing different, it's just the way it's lit up. So, and when it comes to LED TVs, there are 2 different types of those. There is the perimeter lit LED TV, which that just means there is a band of lights that go around that very outside of the screen that light it up. And the beauty of that thing is that they can make those TVs like stupid small, to where it looks like just like a little picture hanging on the wall, and that's really cool. But it doesn't give you the brightest type image. And then they have the full panel backlit LED TVs, to where like behind the entire way of screen there is just LED lights going all over the place. So that makes a slightly brighter image. And when it comes to the normal between an LCD and LED, quote unquote, the LED is always going to look brighter just because LED bulbs are brighter. But when you compare those two together, LED bulbs will use less electricity. So if you want a TV that doesn't consume as much, you'd probably want to go to a LED TV. And since LEDs are newer, even though it's the same old technology, they are more expensive, obviously. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Now, the next one is plasma TVs. And the way plasmas work is you have essentially like 2 pieces of glass, an inner and an outer, and sandwiched in between these glasses there is like, I think it's argon gas, I want to say. Don't quote me on the gas, but I think it's argon. And to get the TV to light up and all this nonsense, they run electricity through it. So if you want a color, there would be a certain amount of voltage that runs through the TV at that time and that location. So that's what gives you all the color. So when I was talking about contrast ratio before, when LCDs would go, it would be by the direction of the spinning of the crystals. Plasmas, it's how much voltage is run through at the time on that TV. So, and the beauty about plasmas too is if you want like a black image, well, guess what? They don't run any voltage through it. So the blacks in the TV are actually true black. When you have a LCD screen, since it is constantly lit up and it's just by the crystal moving around, the crystal will never actually give the black a true black. Like, there's always going to be some sort of gray color to it. So plasmas have true black. So on a plasma, the colors are more real to life, which is nice, especially if you like enjoy watching movies and stuff. And that's essentially kind of the difference. Plasmas are still kind of, compared to the way TVs are now, they're still kind of fairly thick, I guess. I got one that's about 1.5 to 2 inches thick when you compare it to like a little half-inch thick LED TV. So it's much thicker. And then finally, the fourth type of TV is the OLED TV. And that stands for Organic Light Emitting Diode. And what that is a perfect example of it is, if you guys have seen the movie Minority Report, you know those TVs that they have like wrapped around the columns and stuff? That would be an OLED. And what that is that it is actual like organic, like organism, living type thing, I think, right? And it gets electricity run through that, so those actual light emitting diodes actually light up. You don't have a backlight behind it. But the downfall to these TVs is that they are shit ass expensive. I think, excuse me, like last year or something, I saw like a 19-inch OLED TV was 11,000 bucks, and that's just because, you know, it's new technology. One day we'll get to that, and the TVs will be like stupid thin. But for the majority of the people out there, an OLED TV is just out of the question. It's just too much money. You can't really afford it. I mean, that's for super rich. In probably about 10 years, that's the way all the TVs will be. Everyone will be able to afford it. But until then, you know, that's pretty much out of question. But that's the basic difference between the TVs. And so when you're going to pick out a TV, you need to ask yourself, what is it am I going to be using this TV for? I have a plasma TV. It's like several years old. It's only a 30,000 to 1 contrast ratio, but it's unlimited color variations. But I use my TV more for watching TV and watching movies. And since plasma's more true to life, I wanted to go that way so I have a better viewing experience to me. Now, if you're planning on using a TV as like a computer screen or have like very stagnant images on it, you probably want to go with an LCD or an LED TV. It's, you know, it's just what it is. You don't want stagnant images. They can kind of burn in. You don't really have to worry about it anymore. So I would go with an LCD LED TV then. If you want brighter, LED TV. And if you just got tons of money to blow, go ahead and get an OLED. But I don't think there's too many people out there. So it all comes down to what it is you're looking for. But the main takeaway is whatever TV you get, make sure you take the time to set it up correctly. Set all the colors up the exact way you want it and all that shit. And you should be happy with it no matter what you get. So here we go. Here's what my score is. It's some million something. So if you guys want to see how well you do, just let me know what your score is. Alright guys? Thanks for watching.